Hey, everybody, welcome to Copeland's Corner, and I'm your guest host for today because Brian's out after having surgery, having some lymph nodes or something removed from his nose or his face or something in his nose. Regardless, he had sinus surgery, which I've had before, and that sucks. So I totally understand what he's going through, but he'll be back next week after a couple-week layoff. I'm Tom Sawyer, and former owner and producer of Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco, now a voice actor. Now a voice actor. That's better. And so we're here today with some lovely company, some of my best friends, Jake Johannsen, Belinda Waymouth, and Carole Davis are our guests for today. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things. But in the meantime, you can see that subscribe button on your page. Please click on that and give us a like or comment because it helps out in the algorithm. And I've got kids to feed. No, I don't. Okay.
Don't.
So no, I don't.
What are their names?
Cats to feed.
Those kids.
Hannah, Billy, Lilu, and Vito. They're all fur babies. So anywho, welcome. I think it's like, is it just about a month now that we've been going through hell with Donald Trump?
Collective trauma for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have to say, he's been a lot busier than I actually thought he would be. I thought we would be in this hellscape, 6 months from now. But he's been really, he's been on it. And of course, this is sort of like reminds me of like Suicide Squad or the next movie coming up, The Thunderbolts, where it's all the evil characters joining together to form one evil gang, sort of like the evil Justice League. But he's really done an amazing job. And the Republicans, of course, have confirmed just about every single crackpot, alcoholic, conspiracy theorists, vaccine skeptic loser that they can possibly do. And on top of all of that, we have Elon Musk going through everybody's personal information, and none of it's good. We can, there's no way of candy coating it, and none of it's good. And I kind of wanted to start talking about a thing that is picking up steam as far as people talking about billionaires. And why I think we're starting to go down the road of why are we allowing these guys to do stuff, and why are we allowing billionaires to exist? And it reminded me of one of the best jokes I heard you do a couple of years ago, Jake, when you talked about how you could never be a billionaire.
Yeah, well, this is how that goes now when I'm talking about it, because I also don't understand why we have this reverence for billionaires and why we think we should listen to them about everything, because billionaires are dumb. Billionaires are dumb, and we all know they're dumb, but I'll just explain it. If you're a billionaire, at some point, you had $100 million and you kept going to work. Now, that is not what a smart person does. You wouldn't let your friend do that. If your friend had $100 million and he was complaining to you like, I gotta go to work, you'd say, you don't have to go to work. Everyone, your whole family is all set. There's people who haven't even been born who will never have to go to work. You can stop. And so the idea that they kept going to work is a sign that we should not be listening to them. And then if you need further evidence, the really rich guys want to go to Mars. Like both Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos want to go to Mars. And that is a bad destination, right? Like I want to go to Hawaii.
Didn't they see The Martian?
Well, right. But that doesn't make you want to go to Mars.
You can stream it now, for God's sakes.
I would very much like them to go to Mars.
Yeah, I would love them to take themselves and their sperm.
They don't want to go to Mars. They want us to go to Mars. I think that's their plan. They want us to go to Mars so they can have this all to themselves.
Well, the thing that I think of when I think about a billionaire is I think of them as addicts. They're addicted to money and power. They have a hole they will never fill. And that's the thing that reminds me. I would rather deal with a homeless guy on the street that's hooked on fentanyl than Elon Musk. I don't admire a guy who is an addict. He can't stop himself.
Yeah.
You know, what is he? I mean, you can go to any restaurant, you can do anything. I would be playing golf courses all over the world. I would be going, there's so many places that you could go and visit and see amazing things, do things that, you know, that are crazy, and hang out with wonderful people, like, and just do things, just play pinball for a fucking hour, you know, but they can't. They have to be on the phone and I want more money. Why aren't you getting me more money?
I don't think I would want to hang out in the White House with the president, even if it was a president that I liked. I mean, a day of that is enough.
Yeah, that kind of energy, that kind of like really nervous energy. It's like that, because everything's on fire. You know, there's always a fire someplace.
Anyway,
you know,
here's a hole that they can never fill right here. I have a theory about billionaires. I think they're like incels. They're people who couldn't get laid, and they're all unfuckable.
Well,
I think that's a great way to sum it up. When you look at them, when you look at that lineup,
name one billionaire. Belinda, woman to woman. Name straight woman to straight woman. Name a billionaire who's fuckable.
There's not one that's coming to mind.
Not one.
Yeah, not one.
Not one.
No. They're so.
And they know.
I mean, George Clooney's only got $500 million.
I don't think you guys are really. I think we've proven that billionaires are fuckable. Elon Musk has got 11 children by 7 different ladies.
Only because they're billionaires, though. They became billionaires because they were unfuckable. Now that they're billionaires, they're buying pussy.
They can get
bought. All that pussy is bought pussy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Take that, Elon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know. You're drawing a weird distinction for me. It's hard for me to understand the difference, but I get it.
Well, also you can tell he's completely obsessed with it, because Elon wants to send everyone else in rocket ships up to Mars with his sperm. He doesn't want to be in the rocket ship, but he wants to send his jizz up to Mars so that all the ladies who go up there are going to get impregnated by him. I mean,
who are you?
It's like, what the F? And the fact that Elon goes around at parties.
He wants to send people to Mars with his jizz.
Yeah, he's going to give you little, he's going to give you a capsule of his, spermatoza.
So you'll install it when you get there.
Yeah. And then you
before.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want it. Yeah, no,
I'd want to personally install it, I think.
Well, he goes up to ladies at parties and says, "Would you like me to impregnate you?" I mean, it's you're right, Carol. It's really pathetic. It's all about their dicks.
All about their dicks. And look at old pictures of Elon Musk, and even more recent pictures of Elon Musk. But before he had his, I guess, plastic surgery transformation. I don't.
Yeah, and his hair, his wig,
whatever. Oh, really?
He's an incel. He's a former incel. He's trying to get everybody pregnant so he can show that, look, here's all of my, all of the kids that I've made. And the kids, by the way, did you see the kid in the White House? What a little monster.
Yeah, and he was basically there like as protection. Nobody shoot me.
He was a security detail for Dad.
I don't like to go hard against any toddlers. I mean, I don't know what you guys are up for on this show.
He's a 4-year-old. Come on,
a 4-year-old. Can we just stick to Barron Trump? That kid's now.
Now that he's adult. Now that he's legal.
Yeah. He is definitely in the Game of Thrones kind of like freak show.
Yeah.
Well, I love how people make excuses too for like the Nazi salute. They go, "Well, he's got Asperger's, for God's sake. Doesn't understand. He's got Asperger's. Well, why are we letting him into the, to the treasury, for God's sakes?"
He put the ass in Asperger's, that's for sure.
He's
I just want to say that again because it was so good. He put the ass in Asperger's. Oh my God.
Thank you, Carol.
And Kevin Rooney, that's all.
Yeah.
But those kids, though, they're really something.
Yeah.
Those billionaire kids.
Well, I don't think
I'm originally French, so I have a revolutionary blood in my veins, and I am a big fan of La Guillotine.
Ah,
that's where I think we're going now.
They kill the kids.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we're
a
heading
very effective way to deal with the douchebags for sure. And you sort of feel that the speed with which he is, swinging that wrecking ball through our society, through federal agencies, through everything, that the guillotine, Madame Guillotine, is going to come sooner rather than later.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
When?
well, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think
It's sort of like that kid who's got Asperger's, that's swinging a golf club in the house when the parents are away on their date night, and they come home and everything's busted, and eventually they're gonna fire the wrong person, because they're firing like people from the FBI, from the CIA, people who know where the bodies are buried, or people who are keeping their thumb on the dike that's being broken, not the actual lesbian, but the wall.
Dyke. The original Dyke.
Yeah, it does seem like they're acting very hastily, and that there's going to be rapid consequences to what they're doing. And so hopefully we're going to get a little bit of a correction, and some brakes are going to get put on. The thing is, he's going so fast that even though the consequences are going to come quickly, he's just already 5 moves ahead.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, when he was saying that Joe Biden was old, and I was thinking, well, you're also old. He is not. He's going really. I don't know what kind of vitamins this guy's on, but I'm ready to buy some.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
he called it muzzle velocity. That was his term for this. Just shock and awe. He called it muzzle velocity. Just flood the zone with as many things so they can't keep up with you.
But what's great about it too is because he's doing all these things, and he's being so vocal about it, because of course he wants everybody to know that he's doing all these things, that he's firing all these people, that he's doing, that he's making all these laws and showing every time he writes an executive order that there's no place to go for him to blame anybody, because he's breaking it. He's got the executive order that he did that broke the thing, that crashed the plane, that crash the market, because that's where we're going. We're getting rid of a lot of our labor in this country, a lot of the cheap labor that so many companies rely on. That's the thing that amazes me about this. I mean, a lot of these people, take advantage of immigrants. They take advantage of them with lower wages. I don't know what they're thinking, that who's going to pick all these vegetables that are, when avocados eventually become $7 and peaches become like, $10 a peach, at what point do people start rebelling against this? Because I don't think the cult will ever rebel against it. I don't think the cult members of Trumpism will. But I do think the people who voted for Trump, I still don't know for whatever reason they did. My guess is they didn't like a black woman, is my main guess. But they voted for a criminal. They got a criminal. The guy's doing criminal things, has criminal people in there, and eventually bad things are going to happen. So what do you think? If you were to predict something, where do you think the glass is going to get broke? The vase is going to break, because he's doing this across the board and leaving no stone unturned, except for so far. I think the military budget is the only place they haven't really gone in with a wrecking ball. But everything else, I mean, our national security and the CIA and the FBI. I mean, I just wonder where's the big break going to come? What?
They're looking to cut the defense budget. That was in The Guardian today.
Well, yeah, that'll be interesting, because Elon gets like $8 million a day from his contracts with the military. So I don't think there'll be a lot of cutting there. So, but I'm just curious what you guys think, where we're gonna somewhere along the line we're gonna get hit somehow, and where do you think it's going to be first?
I think the people who did vote for him and who've really believed in him, I think they are going to turn against him. There was did you see the Facebook post by the guy? He had worked for the Department of I think, first of all, he was in agriculture, then he moved to a different department, then he moved back to the initial one because it's a great place to work. And so he just lost his job because he was seen as a new hire just because he'd been moved around so much. So rather than them knowing he'd been there 16 years. And so the Facebook post went viral. And what he was saying, first it's, "Dear Mr. President, I voted for you 3 times. I really believe in you, that you're going to make things right. And, you're going to fix it. But this happened, and please give me my job back." Well, I think when people like that don't get given their jobs back, and there are enough of them who voted for him 3 times, I think those people are eventually going to rise up because it's going to hurt them too much. And one of these, how many, what's the percentage of Americans who are 2 paychecks away from being homeless? Something like 60% or something crazy like that. I mean, people live too close to the edge, I think, to be able to withstand the attacks and the fuckery that's being, played out, upon us all right now. I just think he's really playing with fire. I think his diehard people, they're not going to be able to withstand it because it's going to hurt them too badly. It's not just about illegal immigrants picking, $7 avocados and $10 peaches.
No, it's about the jobs and be lost in the domino effect of it. People forget, economies are very fragile things. And what he's doing right now is he's taking a wrecking ball to it. And eventually somewhere along the line, we're going to really start to see the consequences of that. I just feel like it's going to be the economy first, unless, of course, we have another terrorist attack or we have another outbreak of some horrendous virus or something, because we're not giving money to countries that are dealing with Ebola anymore. We're not dealing with or dealing with outbreaks of one disease or another, because that's the idea. It's like, deal with it over there so it doesn't come over here. But if we go, hey, we're not going to give money to, some place we can't even pronounce, the heck with them. And then all of a sudden we're all sick again.
Well, the crazy thing with US aid as well is they were helping families, down to a very the lowest level, farming families in Guatemala and other places be resilient against climate change. And the idea was you invest the money there. It was quite a small part of US aid. I think it was only $6 million, but it was to help those people better stay on their farms and actually have a viable, way of life. Well, that funding is now gone. So that's going to be another push factor for migration here. And, everything is so short-sighted. It's just like chop, 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 without looking a little bit behind the scenes of the chop. And what does that money actually do on the ground in the place where it's going that stops those people wanting then to move to, Estados Unidos and, have a better life? I mean, it's so myopic.
And it's not just
say something about what Belinda said earlier about that the people are going to get angry. And, I respectfully kind of wonder about that, because the people who voted for him, they've already been hurting. They're already living paycheck to paycheck. They already have diabetes and weigh 300 pounds and have lost all their teeth. And they're going to die of a stroke or a heart attack within the next year or two anyway. And they're all just chugging their sodas and eating McDonald's. They're going to be dead. They're already suffering. And they love this guy. They're not going to turn their back on this guy any more than they turn their back on Jesus, because they think he's Jesus. And they're dumb. They're dumb because we only have states' rights in schools, and all the schools are dumb. So generationally, they get dumber every generation. These are just dumb people making more dumb people as they fuck.
Tell it.
Well, I think the Republicans were before some kind of test that you have to take in order to be able to vote. But I don't think everyone who voted for him fits that category. And he didn't win by a giant margin. And I think it's going to be very soon that if the election were held tomorrow, we're going to be at this point where if the election were held tomorrow, he would be voted out by a landslide. I think that's going to happen before the midterm elections happen.
Yeah.
And that's
the problem is they're like 23 months away. And
Well, I know that, but I think he's also a lot of the things that he's doing are going to have consequences to people who are his constituents. And I mean, he wants to be liked and he wants to be considered a great president. And if the stock market starts to tank, he's going to be the first person. He's not a guy who's going to be like, you got to take the tough medicine. He's going to be a guy who says, like, stop turning that crank because you're messing it up now. He can change his mind.
He's flipped on stuff before. I see that, but the problem that he's having is he has definitely let the Project 2025 people in the door, and he doesn't really care because he was basically running on staying out of jail. That's the campaign he was running on. I'm going to shovel whatever bullshit you want me to say into your face holes, and then I'm going to stay out of jail. That's my whole game plan. I don't really care what these guys do as long as I'm on TV a lot. People are talking about me, and people still adore me. At least the people that I want to adore me.
Slam dunk. He did achieve that. He's not in jail, and I don't think he's going to jail.
Check. Not in jail.
Yeah. So he won that one.
Yeah. So I also wanted to ask Carole, because you're here. Carole is she's a citizen in 3 countries.
Yeah, England, France, and the United States.
So now I think that a lot of people can agree the conservative, the hard right, fascist conservative movement is taking hold, not just starting to take hold, not just in America, but in other countries as well. And, we were talking a little bit about this on the phone today.
Yeah, I've always felt, having several nationalities like you, Belinda, because, you also have another nationality of a safe country where you can go if things get too fucked up over here, right? Can I say that on this podcast?
I think we said it. I think we cracked that.
We've already
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if we're not all fired already.
So yeah, I mean, you think as a dual national or a trinational, you always feel like, if things get really messed up over here, well, I'll just go over there. So, we tend to think, those of us who are from other countries, that the world is actually a much smaller marble than Americans tend to think. We always think, well, we can just go here, we can go there. But that's not the case for the first time in my life. And I'm not a kid. For the first time in my life, I now understand that right 10 minutes from the border where I live in the south of France, they've elected a fascist in Italy. I know that within the European Union, within the Schengen area, they're electing fascists left and right. And if they haven't already, they're on the verge. These right-wing parties are on the verge of being elected with the help of Elon Musk. He's in Germany. He's been to Germany to talk to their Nazi party. I'm calling it what it is.
Yeah.
It's the white nationalist,
the AFD,
Christian Nazi party. I think it's the AFD. Is that what it?
AFD. Yeah.
Right. So
alternative for Germany.
Yeah, there you go.
AG.
So
AG.
with Musk's help, and for the first time in my life, I'm terrified to go home, and I'm going home to France next week, and I'm absolutely terrified because I know that everyone in Europe is terrified right now. They're having emergency meetings about it because we know that there is a new world order as of yesterday. As of yesterday, there's a new world order.
As of yesterday,
Europe and North Korea here and Putin over there and Europe and the United States as steadfast allies since World War I. That's gone just in one day. And that
because Trump was cozying up to Putin.
What?
Yeah.
But because of the Trump cozying up to Putin and the relationship that's happening there.
They're gonna form an alliance. But what I do know from reading my French press this morning is that Macron sent a message to all of us via text, every French citizen via text, that don't worry, we are going to solidify Europe against new enemies and old.
Yeah.
How did Macron get your phone number?
Well, we're registered with the government. We sign up with, just like we get alerts here for the fires.
I know, but
there's a literal fire.
If Trump was texting me, I would say I would like to unsubscribe. I guess.
The government does text us if you subscribe to text with your,
Oh, I see. So you subscribe. That's how
Yeah.
he got your number.
Yeah, you subscribe. Every French citizen gets a text from La République Française that says, don't worry, we're having emergency meetings. We're going to solidify the European Union, whether our so-called friends are with us or not. But Putin and Trump together with Saudi Arabia, he's hanging around with MSB. I mean, these are the MBS. These are the worst. These are the worst people in the world.
No, it's not a good hang.
Getting together to see how they can carve up their billions and fuck all the rest of us. It's terrifying. I'm scared.
Yeah, I used to call it the funneling upwards of money with the billionaires, and now it's not even like funneling; it's just hoovering. It's going up so fast. It's crazy. So I'm from New Zealand, and New Zealand very little, far away, and we had Jacinda, and she was our third female prime minister, during COVID, and she saved thousands of lives by following what experts at Harvard told her to do. She listened to the experts, she closed down the country, and New Zealanders were very smug about it. They'd look on the worldometer every night and they'd only had 20 deaths, and, America had 1 million. I mean, it was insane. And then what followed Jacinda? We've now got 3 right-wing douchebags who are in charge, and they're trying to take away Indigenous people's rights and, rewrite a treaty. We're the only country in the world that has a treaty that is for all Indigenous Maori. It's not for individual tribes, so they can, collectively bargain. And it has helped them to get reparations, for, colonial damages and things. And now that treaty, they're talking about rewriting it. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but the two of these guys are part Maori themselves. And so it's really wild when you look at that, when you look at this guy, David Seymour, that he would be so anti taking care of people who, he shares blood with them, but this is, we're on this, pendulum swing to the right, or maybe I have to do it this way on the podcast. And then, we're going to just have to hope, that it goes, I mean, I don't know how soon the pendulum will start, swinging back, but it feels, like you said, Carole, it's scary and precarious. And, the thing that he did, these federal employees who they are people who voted for him, and there are people in this article I was reading about the Facebook post that went viral. People were saying, I've voted Republican my whole life, and after this and what he's doing to federal employees who've been loyal, I'm never going to, I'm going to be voting Democrat. I can't wait for the midterms. This is, but it's not soon enough. I get it.
Where were the women, you guys? Where were the women when they overturned Roe v. Wade?
Yeah, you think that would have been enough right then and there. That's why I think we were all going, there's no way that they would vote this guy in again. Not only do we know, not only was he bad when he was president, but he was worse after he got voted out. For the short span he was president, we waited for Biden to take office. He was worse. And he was and then he got convicted of felonies. Then he got adjudicated for sexual assault.
Yeah.
And
it goes on and on.
It goes on. And you go, there's no way America could possibly elect a felon as their president, a rapist. The guy's a rapist. That's it. I try to explain this to people and they always go, oh, it was locker room talk. Him talking about grabbing pussy and stuff is locker room talk. And I'm going, I've been around guys my whole life. And yes, I've heard guys talk about their sexual escapades and it's kind of boring and whatever. Sometimes it's a funny story, but mostly it's boring and obnoxious. But no guy in my life I've ever heard brag about assaulting women, because that's an assault. When you go up to somebody and just grab them, that's an assault. So
I'm
there's
guilty with the E. Jean Carroll, the Bergdorf Goodman dressing room. I mean, she won her case against him.
Yeah.
And they said it really was rape, so yeah, no.
Plus, he wouldn't take the stand even to defend himself.
The United States is E. Jean Carroll.
Right.
Carole, well,
Yes.
yeah, we're in a dressing room, and we're having our
Dressing
clothes.
room in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, except
Is everybody on Medicare and Social Security?
except
Yeah.
except
We're
we
gonna do this to it.
except we asked for it. He won the election. People,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like, why did people vote for him? I don't know, but they
Well,
did.
I think this is why people on the left are so like angry and flummoxed about it. And I know, I mean, the few people I had left in my life, I just said, look, I can't deal. And just going, well, it's just politics. No, it's not just politics. It's like you voted for Blofeld, you voted for like retarded Blofeld. And go ahead.
I feel like you do have to blame the DNC. I mean, Biden said he was going to run for one term, and then as soon as he said that he wasn't, they should have said, wait a minute, you said one term, you can't do this, you can't run for 2 terms. And then when he was talking about leaving or not, a lot of the top level Democrats were saying, well, it's his choice whether he goes. It's like, look, either this is democracy is threatened and we're all scared for democracy, or we're going to let grandpa decide if he wants to have another go at the whack-a-mole, because the fact that he decided to run again and then he had to be pushed out and we didn't really get a Democratic primary. I don't want to talk about Kamala Harris, but she just kind of got thrown into this with not enough time and scoreboard.
Here's the thing. And I agree with everything you said. If the candidate were Mitt Romney, if the candidate was Dole, if the candidate was W, I agree with all of that. But the candidate was a felon and an adjudicated sexual assaulter. That was an insurrectionist. There's no excuse. There's really no excuse for America.
So you're saying that the Democratic Party was right to do what they did?
No, I agree with you.
There's no way that Donald Trump could have won because they were wrong. They made a mistake.
No, I agree with you. It was bad. But I'm still.
He also only won by 1 million votes, and there were so many people who didn't vote. Like young people didn't vote in droves because they didn't like what Biden was doing. They didn't see him as the right alternative, and. I don't want to get, go deep into the politics of that, but, the Democrats really made mistakes and we had a really, really bad voter turnout. I mean, it should be like Australia where, election day is a holiday. You all have to vote and you get fined if you don't. And then there also should be, and I know Carole's going to agree with me on this, you can't be a low information voter. You have to have like some idea about what you're actually voting for, because that's the other problem. People
So what are you going to do? You're going to have a test because that's how they used to.
Yeah. No. I know. I'm just
I think what you can do, and it's, to me, it's criminal that and another thing that's another black mark on our education system is that we don't teach civics. We don't teach how to live. We don't teach. This is how we. This is our society. This is how we live. This is how a checkbook works. This is how the government works. And you take tests and you understand how to do that. We don't do that. There's no class for that.
Teach that the Earth is round.
I can't believe we're still having that debate.
You don't even teach that. They're trying to take that out of the books.
That's the funniest thing ever, I must say. And because I keep meaning to bring this up in the show because it's so insane to me that there are you can go on YouTube and you put in like, flat earthers versus scientists or whatever. Yeah. And there'll be pages of debates with people and you're just going, we have photos, we have satellites.
Yeah, guys, it's not just in America, because everyone always thinks that this is the country of, the ignoramuses, but it's not just here. I mean, they've interviewed, people off the street in Britain. They've done it in Russia, and they have the same numbers, 50% of people believing that the earth is flat. So, because first of all,
most people are just going to work and trying to get laid and getting beers on the weekend. Most people are not worried about politics. This is the thing: is most people are not worried about politics. This is why it's going to take a while for the consequences of what's going on to even manifest themselves. Because most people don't even understand what a national park is, or the employees of national parks are getting fired. They're like, well, what do you mean national? You mean the park by my house? They don't know.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while for all of the consequences of this to add up to something.
Yeah. Who's going to wrangle all those squirrels?
Well, it's not
Well-
the squirrels. It's your pet toilets that you have to worry about, because park rangers and forest service people actually clean out those loos. Oh, Jake's turned us off. Sorry,
God.
guys.
What just happened?
That tribe that just recently made contact with the outside world in Latin America. There's a tribe, I forget the name of the tribe, but they were just discovered. They just came out, and there were some pictures of them. Even they know that the loggers are bad. Even they know.
Well, that's why they came
had
out.
no contact with anyone ever. And even they know logging bad. People who do the logging, bad. Kill them. They know that.
Yeah.
No education. I
just think it's
education as we know it.
Education of the natural world, and they see someone, putting it into imbalance by
We're
taking
the
out
dumbest people in the world.
Well, we're a pretty sad species, because we have, collective amnesia. We can't remember what happened 4 years ago. No one can remember how bad the first Trump administration was, because that's the other thing.
Yeah.
People have, so we don't remember well.
No.
And we're, this is the thing that I always say, and this might be, so, we've been Homo sapiens sapien for 200,000 years. That's a very, very,
that includes some monkey time.
No. We were monkeys before then. This is Homo sapiens sapien.
But not 200.
Yeah, it's 180 to 200,000 years. But
how long have we been wearing pants?
We've only been growing crops for 10,000 of those years. So before that, we were hunter-gatherers for the longest time. So our brains are completely wired to see the deer, kill the deer, eat the deer. Next deer, see the deer, kill. We're very myopic. We think very short term. We don't think long term. And it's really biting us in the butt, especially with, people like our billionaires, who are very concerned with getting their genes into the next generation, as we've already discussed on this. It's because that's what our biological imperative is. So they're naked, human impulses, billionaires.
Well, plus they've also read their own press releases and believe them. Elon Musk believes he developed the Tesla, not that he just bought the company.
Like everything that he just bought. Twitter.
Take all these billionaires, right? Just imagine this. Take all these billionaires and throw them in a time machine into a large group of Australopithecines and see how they get along and see what happens. They wouldn't survive 5 minutes with Australopithecus, not 5 seconds with Lucy. No.
No, they wouldn't. They'd have their faces. They'd have their faces ripped off.
Yeah.
When you need a time machine to solve a problem, you're really in trouble.
You are in trouble. I think we're all laughing here, but honestly, we're on the precipice of a world war, of a disaster. I know it sounds pessimistic, and I'm an optimist. And
because
I feel like we're on the very edge of a cliff right now.
Right.
Okay, so I just have to tell you guys this, because you brought up Madame Guillotine. So the last public execution happened in France in 1937, guys. That was the last time you could publicly go and see someone.
A guillotining?
A guillotining, yeah. And the last person to be killed by a guillotine in France was in the 1970s. So not that long ago, Carole. Not that long ago.
Well, you were saying something before about what people forget.
It is an execution. Sorry?
You were saying before about how people forget. And I think that we're on the verge of a dark ages again. Because remember that during the Middle Ages, during the Dark Ages in Europe, they forgot how to wash. They forgot everything that they knew beforehand. They forgot hygiene for 300 years. They forgot that you had to wash. They knew it before and promptly forgot it for hundreds of years. I think we're on the verge of one of those, a dark age.
Well, definitely,
orange light.
To me, something bad is definitely going to happen. I'm hoping it's on the scale of something that, how we came out of the Great Depression, where we actually had probably, Social Security came out of that, Medicare, eventually other good things came out of it. But we also had a world war in that process too. So, we're heading for something really, really bad. And I'm shocked that the smartest men in the world can't see that for the life of them, because because there's no rocket ship to hide from to hide from it when the shit really hits the fan. Whether it's a virus, whether it's terrorists, whatever it is.
But not so smart, I don't think, these guys.
No,
so smart.
No, they're not.
That's the problem. We've got the monkeys in charge.
Yeah, because again, they're addicts.
I think they're smarter than you give them credit for right now. I think that these consequences are going to happen rapidly, and there's going to be a counteraction that's taken quickly. I think we're going to avoid some mass catastrophe.
But we still have the problem is we still have the Democratic Party that we just said, put the geriatric guy that nobody really wanted to run again in charge. And until the Democratic Party really makes some really hard ass changes, like becomes a populist party, like they really need to take not just a page out of Bernie Sanders' playbook, but they need to take the whole playbook and actually go even deeper on that playbook than Bernie did. I mean, we really need to start fixing problems and dealing with a society where we have a national healthcare system, where we have things in place that so we keep people educated, and stop giving money to red states that they're taking blue state money and treating their people horribly. I'm for keep your tax dollars and you go ahead and you can be as crooked and screwed up as you want, but eventually at the end of the day, don't come to us looking for help. I'm tired of that shit. I'm really tired of
you ready to cede?
25% of California's money going to Tennessee, Mississippi, all these places that, I don't want to step foot in with people that I never want to meet,
Well, it is interesting that our federal tax dollars are going to these red states where they hate our policies.
Yes, and that's why we should join Canada. They would probably vote for that. I mean, if the whole West Coast and part of the East Coast joined Canada, they would probably be all over it. Get rid of California. It's a hellscape. That's what they keep telling their people anyway. Every single, Fox News day. There we go. They tell people, oh, California, you're gonna get homeless people are gonna poop in your car, and they're gonna,
well, they will. You do have to lock your car. You do have to lock your car. They'll poop in there. Oh,
okay. Well,
it does
not
happen.
over here. Not over here in Mill Valley.
You leave your car unlocked at night, Tom. Somebody's pooping in there.
Well, yeah, out where you live, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's poopage in your car. You have to worry.
Everybody wants to poop indoors. That's just a fact.
Okay, so I also wanted to talk about comedy, since we're all kind of in the comedy. We're in the comedy community one way or another, and that it seems like right now there are getting to be fewer and fewer of the George Carlin, Bill Hicks types out there, and we're getting more and more of the Joe Rogans of the world. And I was just wondering, because I've been seeing a lot of Bill Burr lately, and the stuff is really has that kind of truthful edge that he didn't really have before. He's a very blue collar kind of guy, but I still see that blue collarness to him, which is it. But what I do see him, and this is what I wanted to bring up with you, Carole, is I see Kevin Rooney in Bill Burr. Yeah, I really see it. He's got the same East Coast Boston thing that Kevin has. Kevin was probably definitely more intellectual with it than Bill is. Bill is more blue collar, but Bill is growing. I mean, not as a following or anything like that, but I'm talking about it as a person. He talks about more and more personal things and is making that funny. And I think he's getting more away from the obvious, easy targets and starting to punch, punch up, which seems to be really we're really lacking on comedians who punch up. And I'm really sick and tired of the trans jokes. I mean, to me, when I see somebody like Joe Rogan, I lose my mind a little bit because I've known Joe for at least 12 years. I knew Joe, and I think he would kick the shit out of himself right now if he saw where he ended up mentally. And I feel like, I watch a guy like him and I watch his special, and I was like, wow, you went on a tirade about Carlos Mencia being a hack and stealing material. And now you are Carlos Mencia. You're this hacky comic who takes pot shots as the easiest, lamest targets, for comedy, punching down and making faces and just being so hacky and being stupid. I don't know what happened to him. I mean, he actually said on his show recently when he was talking about Elon Musk, saying that Elon Musk is not going to steal anything from us because he's got $400 million. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need the money. Well, couldn't you have said that when he had $350 billion or $300 billion or $250 billion? How did you think he got to $400 billion? Because he can't stop.
Well, who do you think he got it from? That was us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been subsidizing him.
Yeah, hugely. Taxpayer. Yeah, absolutely.
So I was wondering if you had comics that you've seen out there anybody that you see up and coming or has seen that is really piquing your interest.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm in a world where I'm seeing a lot of young comics. I'm performing on my shows, so there's 2 other people, and usually they pick them to go along with me. So they're not usually politically minded. Every once in a while, Instagram will show me somebody, I can't remember the guy's name, who I've seen, but a younger guy. That's the thing about Bill Burr. Bill Burr is awesome, and he does seem to have an interesting, truthful take on things, but he's in his mid-50s, so.
Well, Matt Rife, that misogynist.
Well, yeah, he's more of a social media phenom than
he's a pretty big comic.
He's what?
Oh, so many of these comics.
Comic.
Yeah, so many of these comics though.
He's not funny, and he's really gorgeous and hot looking, and he hates women.
Who are you talking about?
Matt Rife.
Matt Rife.
Yeah, he's not my cup of tea. I'm with you.
Of all the comics I'm seeing lately, I can't remember her name, and I'm so embarrassed. I feel bad. She's a black woman in her 50s, and she's really, really funny. And I feel terrible that I don't know her name because I should. I didn't know we were going to be talking about this. But I think black women can be really funny on stage. The two.
Well, everybody can be funny. There's so many. That's the thing about people always said. When I get interviewed, they always go, how are women funny? Because there's not as many women in comedy as there are men. And I'm going, of course women are funny. Also, let's remember that, wanting to make a room full of strangers laugh is not the healthiest thing to do mentally, to want to do for a career.
You talk about filling up a hole. You're trying to get approval from a group full of strangers. I mean, something went wrong. Something went wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to fix it. I'll own that.
Yeah. It's like going to women. Why aren't there as many like women axe murderers or serial killers? Why is it? You guys aren't motivated? What's wrong with you?
Maybe there are, but they're just really good at it.
There you go.
Really good at not getting caught.
I think we need to look at the women. We need to look at the women. We need to see more women.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to me, especially when people always, when I tell them what I did, and they always go, "Yeah, I hear it's really tough being a comic these days because of the wokeness and stuff." Because and I'm going, that's only on like Netflix or HBO when people are watching a comedy special that they're not of a person they're not really a fan of. When people go to a show, they're going to laugh. When they go to a concert, when at at a theater, they're going because they're a fan of that person. No one's booing. No one's booing anybody that at these places. They love Dave Chappelle because they want to see Dave Chappelle. If they're going to see Joe Rogan, they want to see Joe Rogan. They're not going to boo him. The people who don't like Joe Rogan aren't going to be there. They're not buying a ticket. So, I mean, the whole woke thing, as far as that's concerned, it's mostly for, comedy specials. And I don't watch those people.
The whole misusage of the word woke is getting to me lately.
It's really annoying.
Right out and disgorge the baloney that wokeness is bad, and they don't truly understand what being awake to social injustice is. So they're just blaming people who care about people. I don't understand.
Yeah. Hey, you have empathy. That makes you a bad person. What?
Yeah, I think that empathy is something that is not looked upon as any kind of a good trait by fully half of Americans. And I know we're off of the comics now and
No, but it's okay.
politics, but yeah, and I'm not really seeing the danger that we're facing on comedy stages right now. And I wish I was. I wish there was somebody who was talking about all this and going, just like a Sam Kinison scream about the precipice we're on right now. What?
Yeah.
I think it's just so in your face everywhere else, at least for me. And I'm not ever trying to change anybody's mind politically in my comedy show. I feel like what people want when they come to my show is, and what I want to do is, you come feeling one way and you leave feeling better. You know,
Right.
I feel like now people are going to comedy because they want to escape and laugh and have a good time. They don't want to get taught a lesson or
Right.
turned around or
Yeah. And if you are that kind of person, if you're going to see somebody like Mark Maron, you have an idea of who he is and why you're going to see him.
Well, and you already agree with him. I
Right.
like somebody like Mark Maron is not out there changing anyone's mind. He's just preaching to the choir. His fans come for him and they want to hear his opinion or his take on things, and it's funny and it's entertaining, but it's not designed to appeal to people who disagree with him.
Did any of you guys see like clips or the 50th anniversary SNL?
I did not.
Eddie Murphy was so good in the with Will Ferrell in the Scared Straight clip. That was absolutely extraordinary. The Black Jeopardy skit was great.
I just find it funny.
Alien skit was fantastic.
Yeah, I just find it funny that it seems like every year people always talk about like how awful Saturday Night Live is now. And then I watch it and it's like everything else. Like, you know, probably 30% of the skits fall on their face, but like Weekend Update always kills me. I mean, those two guys are amazing.
And it's for now. Saturday Night Live is always for now. It's for people who are in their late teens and 20s now. And so you can like it or you can not like it. But the real question is, do those people like it? Because that's who it's really for, and that's who it's geared towards. And so when you watch Saturday Night Live at my age, I'm remembering the guys who were on when it first started, how much I loved it. And I just think, well, it's still got to be doing that because it's still on the same time of day and it's been successful this whole time. So it's alive and it's talking to the people that it wants to talk to.
Plus it's always been self-deprecating. It's always made fun of everybody and everything. You know, there's nothing, they've always been, it's always been a sketch or something that, you know, it's going to piss off somebody, but that's part of the charm of it. Of course, if you allow that to be part of the charm of it, you know, to be able to laugh at yourself.
Have they been going after Trump as heavily as they did the first time around when Alec Baldwin was doing him? Because I think it's more like, you know, I think it's more like this for a lot of things and a lot of people. I mean, I don't watch MSNBC anymore. I don't watch CNN anymore. I don't watch it because I was really pissed off before that it was more of really kind of just about TV ratings and stuff like that, and really not about the news and not really having experts on. And I'm really tired of two people who have their opinions, have their feet in cement, yelling at each other. You know, it's really boring.
Well, if we wanted to watch that, we could all get together on a Zoom with people who we like and talk about what's going on, like what we're doing right now. I don't need to watch other people talk about what they think is happening. I've got friends. I can talk about what I think is happening with them.
Yeah, I'm not an expert either, so that'd be great. We can all sit around and talk about things. Why don't we do that?
Half of those people on CNN and MSNBC, they're just on there to argue with each other. Yeah. I mean, you're listening to the guy who's supposed to be saying your viewpoint, and you go, this guy's as dumb as I am.
I don't know. Lawrence O'Donnell has some pretty high level people who were in charge of the hearings on the January 6th rioters. I mean,
No, I agree with you. There are
Lawrence
pockets of
O'Donnell
people.
really like takes a risk. He puts his
No,
head
no,
on the blade pretty much every night, saying the truth, and I think it's very, very brave what he's doing. He's
so that you
really
do like
laying out the
Lawrence
truth.
O'Donnell. What's he on?
He's on
MSNBC.
MSNBC, and the people that he has on are all excellent, and they're all experts, and they're not just TV pundits. They're actually people who are involved in government.
Yeah, that's more of a CNN thing. CNN's been doing Crossfire. That's why Crossfire became redundant on CNN, was because they ended up doing it all day long. You know,
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
Every show, it's enough.
every show was Crossfire.
This guy's going to argue with that guy.
Yep, they're going to take counter positions, and neither one. And afterwards, they're going to have coffee and make jokes about what they had just done, even though they look like they're going to go into fisticuffs any seconds.
But look at like Nicholas Kristof. What's his name? Kristof, the columnist for the New York Times.
Yeah,
Is it Nicholas Kristof? Yeah, he came on and he said something that was so poignant. He said that, you know, the richest people in the world are now attacking the poorest people in the world.
yep.
And so, you know, that's a brave thing to say on television. I don't care how many people are not watching it, but it's for the record. It's for the record, and we're going to need to be brave, and we're going to need to stand up. And there's going to come a time soon where we're going to have to be in the streets and risk things. We're going to have to if we want to change anything, because the midterms might not do it. And even if the midterms legitimately did something, I don't think he's leaving. He's not leaving. He's taking power. He's amassing power, and he's silencing any part of the government that would hinder his ascension.
Yeah, and we would need 60% of the Senate to do anything because they're completely terrified. They're terrified.
This is the thing. Everyone is scared because he is so vindictive, and he has talked about, you know, I'm going to come in and I'm going to get vengeance on every, you know, opponent, everyone who made a decision or impacted me, you know, my whole life that I haven't liked. I mean, he's so thin-skinned and like a kid as far as, you know, that sort of retribution and revenge stuff goes. But I wonder, the thing you were saying before, Carole, about not seeing people, you know, comedians really talking about it. I mean, I wonder if it's because it's happening so fast, but then I wonder also if there's a slight fear factor as well, that people are concerned.
A coward factor. It's a coward factor. As artists, we need to speak up. As journalists, as artists, as people actors, writers, directors, we must speak up. We have to lead. Creatives have to talk about it. We have to.
But unfortunately, right now, the problem is that that we're kind of all at the mercy of billionaires. I mean, billionaires own movie studios, billionaires own record companies, billionaires own the networks, for the newspapers. I mean, we got on this train with Reagan, and we've been just piling on ever since. You know, it used to be if you were you couldn't own more than 3 media outlets in the country. You know, not just like, you know, you could own a radio station, a TV station, and a newspaper in one area. That was it, you know. And then we had the fairness doctrine, when if somebody said something like, you know, right wingers are great because they do this, somebody would have to be on with a counter opinion to that, because the news was, guess what? The news was there was an accident today. But 3 people, you know, got into a wreck. When somebody's got a head injury, well, they're reported as fine. That was the news. There was no opinions. Now everybody has an opinion, and because everybody's bought and billionaires want more opinions than others, you know, we have newspapers that are being destroyed. We have news networks that are being destroyed because they're giving money to Trump, you know, on lawsuits that they could easily win, but they would rather just, you know, give him $15 million and you know, let's be done with them, you know.
You can thank Murdoch. You can thank Murdoch.
Yep. And on that happy note.
Yeah, boy, you guys, that was really you're a real Chicken Little, Tom. You're just a fucking bummer.
Hey, I saw a good. I saw the Gorge yesterday.
How was the Gorge?
The first hour was great. Second
so just
hour.
watch the first hour.
So just watch the first hour.
It's on the Apple TV, right?
Yep. Really, really. The first hour is great. The second hour is horrible.
Huh.
Okay.
All right.
It was like the director and writer had a stroke, and some other guy came in to finish it off. You know,
It's hard to write the end. I mean, look at America. The beginning, awesome.
It's a really awesome.
The middle is shit.
I don't know. No, you're right. It wasn't too awesome. The slavery part. That was pretty awful.
I don't think we ever really had a. I don't think we really ever had.
Land. Okay. Fair enough.
We're at the end now, folks.
Yeah, like
Fall of the
American
Roman Empire. It took less to topple the Roman Empire. Less. It was the same kind of situation.
But they lasted longer, I think, than this empire's going to last.
I think we're in a great spot here in California. I think we just got to team up with Oregon and Washington.
I'm learning the words
Canada.
Canada.
The Danes are going to buy us, and I'm thrilled. I'm going to chip in.
The Canadians are going to buy us?
No, the Danes. The Danish people want to buy California.
I love that.
I love that.
I love that.
Out there.
I
They've
love
got
Danish
some real
people.
social democracy going in Denmark.
They want to buy California, and I'm going to chip in. I'm fine. I'd love to be Danish.
They have a GoFundMe going, right?
Yeah, they do. And it's going.
Well, we can
going
self-finance. We can just self-finance the deal. I'll just loan them the money.
We have it.
Carol, yeah.
We're the fifth largest economy in the world here in California. What do we need the rest of this country for?
That's great. Well, so now we're on a positive note. This is what I like. Now, finally, we got an idea.
Denmark.
Or I'll take Canada. I'd love to be Canadian. Actually,
We need to all get on the same page, though, Tom. We can't just. Some people can't be Canada. Some people can't.
Highest bidder.
We're gonna be Danish or Canadian or I don't know what's gonna happen, but I sure had fun talking with you guys. I feel better.
Really?
It's good to see all of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know Carol's off to Nice, right?
I actually have to go now.
Well, we're all.
You have to leave, right? Yeah.
You got anything to play? Carol, you actually, for those folks out there that are watching the show, Carol co-wrote a song with Prince, and it's on Sign of the Times album. It's a great song too.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
what's the name of the song?
Oh, the name of the song? It's called Slow Love. It's on the Sign of the Times album.
Oh, cool.
Won a number of awards and a number of Grammys and Hall of Fame-ish kind of stuff. And
awesome. Well, we're going to go listen to that right now.
Yeah.
and Jake, you got any shows coming?
My version that was produced by Nile Rodgers. Which I did on one of my albums. But yeah, I mean, that's for another podcast, but
yeah. Cool.
Yeah, your time with Carol's time with Prince.
Yeah. Jake, you got any shows coming up you want to plug?
I do have some shows coming up. April 16th through the 19th, I'm going to be in Minneapolis at the Acme Comedy Company. It's a great club. And then back to where it all started for me, San Francisco, the Punchline, May 8th through 10.
Sweet. So, I'll see you there.
I'll see you there.
All right. And Belinda, anything?
Yeah. This Saturday, I am doing a story about from my misspent youth, my lost year in South America when I was 21 years old. It's got to do with a prison in La Paz, very famous prison that I spent some time just visiting. I was visiting some cocaine smugglers. I had nothing to do with cocaine smuggling.
Just
that's going to be. It's a story night. It's called Tell It. The name of the show this Saturday is Mixtape. It's all different stories.
What's the club?
And it's at the Young Actors Theatre Space on Pico here in Los Angeles. So yeah, if you want to come hear about some shit I got up to when I was young and wild.
What's the date?
This Saturday, the February 22nd. I'll send you the details.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Come see it.
I'll be on.
Well, thank you all for being on the show today, and we'll definitely have you back again. It was a lot of fun, and it's great seeing you.
Yeah, great to see you guys too.
Okay.
Thank you.